I'm professional surfer Lakey Peterson.
And I'm Olympic gold medalist Kaleigh Gilchrist.
And this is Sure Thing, where sports meet real life.
With the people and stories that inspire us. Hey guys, we're back in person for the first time in, I think, 5 months here at the studio.
Lakey's Kitchen.
Lakey's Kitchen.
Welcome back. It's good to be back together.
It is.
With our newest edition.
Yay!
Sandy. Say hi to the listeners.
Hi, listeners.
If you're listening and not watching, you should be watching because she's the cutest little thing you've ever seen. But
we're going to see how this goes. We'll see if she gets cranky.
yeah.
We're preps. We got our matcha and we got our milk.
Kaleigh knows what's up. But yeah, today we're back together. We're gonna just talk a little bit about pro athlete life and what it's like traveling. You can speak to this because you were in a team, and I can speak to it because I travel with surfboards and all sorts of heavy luggage everywhere. Yeah, we're gonna talk about just all things kind of sport, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll kick it off. It'll be the less glitz and glam of the pro athlete lifestyle.
Yes.
So you mentioned traveling, and for water polo, we're usually in season during the summer. So that's when we do our most traveling, except for that Olympic year leading into the Olympics. That's when we travel tons and everyone is centralized.
Yeah.
But we have about 1 or 2 big tournaments a year, and it's usually in Europe. So when we travel, we are traveling with like 20 people. So obviously you have 13 athletes on the team, and then we'll probably bring an alternator too, about 15 athletes, 3 coaches, a doctor, our trainer, our weights and conditioning coach. Sometimes we travel with our nutritionist. So we are a walking circus through the airport.
Right. Just
and
stuff everywhere.
Yeah, and
you guys wear the same uniform?
no, so it's actually pretty nice. Like that they used to, and then when the new coach Adam came aboard, I think back in like 2009, he was just like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But not every other, but most countries travel in matching gear through the airport.
You like see them.
Yeah, I mean, you can't miss us anyways. We all have our big old USA water polo backpacks on and stuff, and we have to get to the airport. Like, it drives me nuts, actually. We have to get to the airport like 3 hours ahead of time.
That would suit me. I'm a weird
You are.
person, yes.
I don't think I would see that from you, but oh yeah, you'd fit right in with our anxious group. That's like, because when you say 3 hours at the airport, well, you can't be late to the time. So
Right.
then you get nervous, and then you got to get there, and all of a sudden you're 3.5 hours because you don't know about LAX traffic. Anyways, yeah, we don't have to match. We travel, and then it's crazy, but you just learn a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to cruise and go with the flow. And, you know, there's delays, there's missed luggage. My first trip I ever went on, my bags didn't show. And we also have to travel with a lot of bags. You wouldn't think so much with water polo, but extra caps, extra everything. And then our trainer has to travel with so much medicine and obviously a lot of tools for our recovery. So we're on luggage duty.
Right.
So somebody will have a big suitcase one way.
Do you guys have to bring your own balls?
Most of the time, no.
Okay.
But back in 2014, it was like the summer our coach crushed us. It was like where we found ourselves.
Okay.
We had to travel with weight belts.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we
What?
each had to travel with half of a weight belt.
Oh, no.
So an extra in your backpack, like an extra 5 or 10 pounds, because if you put on your suitcase, a lot of us didn't have status at the time because we were all newbies, and it was like our first,
Just charging you for every extra ounce of weight you have.
Yeah.
Freaking weight belt.
So we're traveling with weight belts. I'm glad we don't do that anymore. But anyways, I know have plenty surfboards. How many surfboards you travel with?
I mean, it's hard for us because you would know this, but for the listeners, like, we obviously travel with a lot of surfboards, but usually we're doing, for instance, I just did 4 events in a row and I didn't go home in between. And so every wave we go to is different, and you need different boards for different conditions. So if it's bigger, you need like bigger boards because you need more paddle power and this and that. If it's smaller, you want like gravel boards, maybe epoxy, which is like a different foam. So anyways, you just have to have all your bases covered. And then the boards you usually ride, like, you want a backup of that. So I mean, the guys travel with more than I travel with, but I have anywhere from like 10 to 15 would be the most boards at a time, which is basically 2 huge. I'll probably put a photo in, like 2 huge board bags. They look like coffins. Honestly,
Yeah,
when I'm
they
walking
do.
through the airport, people are like, "What the heck
Yeah.
is in those things?" And yeah, I mean, it's talk about extra weight. It's
Yeah.
like it is so gnarly, and half the time, especially in Europe, actually, I've found they're the worst with the board bags. Or they look at you like that thing's not getting on the plane. I don't know what it is, but it's not coming. It's too big, and it's so gnarly because as a surfers, we always talk about it like it's literally our job. Like this isn't even just a recreational fun surf holiday. And if those don't get there,
Yeah.
I don't have like a board to ride, and I don't want to ride someone else's board because they're very particular, like obviously shaped for us. So.
Yeah, to the like centimeter almost.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes.
crazy, and
So
that makes a difference.
it is crazy, and like I've actually started putting good airport travel hack air tags in my bags now.
Yeah,
And
I've
my
heard that.
friends, just especially in Europe, they always lose them going into Portugal. I've found they always lose them going to South Africa, Johannesburg. So
How funny.
those 2 airports suck.
Yeah, wow.
But
And then wait, this is actually kind of funny. I was watching Snake Tales today, and he asked, "How many suits do you usually travel with?"
oh, interesting.
How many suits did you have in New Zealand? Was the last contest we were at?
I had 3 in New Zealand. I had 2 3.2s and 1 4.3.
You're on the lower end. We heard some people saying 8,
Yeah.
7 or 8 divas, huh?
Diva.
Can't put on the cold suit. Meanwhile, Lakey's wearing the same suit the entire contest.
Same 3.2
Yeah.
too. Wetsuits are so heavy.
They're
Like,
especially if they're wet and not
Yes.
like dried before.
yes, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, no, I only need a 4.3 in the mornings. And honestly, I grew up in cold water, so I'm
Yeah.
also pretty used to cold. Like I can wear a 3.2,
Yeah.
especially in a heat. So yeah, I don't know. The travel is definitely, I think it's funny. You probably similarly to water polo. It's amazing. We get to go to all these cool places.
Yeah.
You got to go to Europe. Obviously you wouldn't trade for the world, but I think it's less glamorous than people realize. I feel like a lot
Yeah.
of people think like pro athletes are just flying first class everywhere they go. And and it's like all easy. Everything's paid for. Everything's organized. And it's not like it. I mean, it's really all on you to figure out. And it's yeah.
And it's like pretty wild. You played this game like you get married to an airline.
Oh, yeah.
Because the status game makes honestly your travel experience so different.
This is a good one.
Like night and day. So we both actually fly United, and they're a Star Alliance. So you try to get on all those flights that you can, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But basically, to re-get your status, you have to spend an X amount of dollars and then be on an X amount of flights a year. And every year it gets harder and harder.
Yes, it does.
And one year I made it all the way till December. I needed 2 more flights, and it was December 30th.
No.
And I made it money-wise, but I didn't make the flight statements. So I was in Santa Barbara, and I flew SB to SFO to SNA, which is Orange County. So I did a layover in San Francisco in one day just to get it. Tom dropped me off at the airport in Santa Barbara, drove down to Newport, and picked me up.
Honestly,
like, that's
sponsor you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's
commitment. That is insane commitment.
But it's like for the highest status, actually, there's like a secret high status that no one really knows how you get global services. But 1K is the highest status, and I had to get it. And I think it was leading into the Olympic year. So I was like, I need this because I'm going to be on a plane for half the year.
Yeah.
But then you get killer status and you get upgrades. So if you get a little upgrade, it's just game changer.
Upgrades? Yeah. Upgrades make it so easy. You're like, oh, I could just stay on here all day. This is like fun.
Yeah.
Get off the plane.
No, I know.
It's funny because so I used to be United when I was young, and then I switched to
you
American.
switched.
And because I started dating Tom, and American is really good partners with Qantas. Sandy's loving her bottle.
Yeah, I'm sure you're hearing it. Noah, can you just edit it?
So I've been flying American, and now I'm gonna try and status match back to United.
Yeah.
Because American doesn't want to take board bags anymore. So
What?
for you, American Airlines?
Oh, this is
So much status, and they don't want to let me on the plane every time I go there.
This is crazy too.
Okay.
Because California is surfing's technically the sport of California.
Yeah.
And United has made all board bags free leaving California and coming to California.
That's what I'm talking about.
And yeah, so anyways, the status in the miles game's hilarious. They basically paid for my honeymoon hotel.
Honestly, it's insane. We should do like hacks to travel. 'Cause
Yeah.
we would have between both of us, we'd have a few.
Yeah.
And honestly, the status for getting more luggage, free boards, usually like they're way cooler when you have like status, like
Yeah.
high
Oh,
status.
yes.
Lounges are key when you travel as much as we do.
Yep.
So, anyways, all those things add up, which it's funny. I feel like an idiot talking about it.
Yeah, no, but we know there's some diehards out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
This is our biggest conversation as a team at the end of the year. Are you going to get status or
You're
no? Like,
getting
you're going to get
1K.
status? Yeah, you're getting 1K.
that is so funny. We did the extra flights.
Yeah.
That's committed.
But we'll jump into something maybe a little bit more serious, but travel is serious. So you just got back 4 contests. You're looking good.
Yeah.
How do you stay cool with other competitors, or does jealousy start, creeping in? And tell us about how the emotions are.
Yeah, we thought this would be a fun topic to talk about, like, as a competitor, how it changes you when you're in season or you're in a contest versus when you're just outside of a contest.
Yeah.
And I do think it does change you, obviously. We are competitive and all of us are trying so hard. Same with for you when you competed and still in life.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think, I actually think it's a really interesting thing to talk about because I don't know. It's like when you're young, I feel like you just have no perspective and everything's about winning or losing. And that
Yeah.
kind of controls like your happiness in your life, which is toxic and not a good way to live at all.
We've all been there.
Yes. And of course, to a degree, like when you win, it's so fun and so great and you're happy. And when you lose, it's hard and, it's a bummer. But
Yeah.
I think in terms of like how it changes you as a person and in a contest, I actually need to check myself sometimes because of course jealousy creeps in,
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's like I could have someone who rides for the same sponsors as me. And if they do better than me, it's like, ooh, that's annoying because we ride for the same sponsor and like I want to do better than her,
Yeah.
whatever. So, and I think that's a normal human response. Again, like I'm competitive. We're all competitive
Yeah.
and trying to win and trying so hard. But I also think it can definitely make you an uglier human being in those times because you don't want to be jealous. And I always think like, I want people to be stoked for me when I have my moment, and I want to like genuinely be stoked for them when they have theirs. And I feel like in competition, it can just bring out. For me, it can definitely bring out like a worse side.
Yeah.
From a human perspective, like a human being perspective. So, it's definitely something I need to check myself on more. And yeah, I can be way more of a. What about you?
I don't know. I'm thinking of you when you're talking, and it's just so crazy to me because you are close with so many of your competitors, and I think it's so challenging, especially like, certain contests you might run for the first 2 days, and then you have 10 or 5 days off, kind of like New Zealand was.
Yeah.
And so those late days, you're enjoying each other's companies, but you may have just beat them in a heat or you're annoyed at them for X, Y, and Z and the jealousy. So I think it's really tricky because for me, I think the biggest challenge was almost teammates rather than competitors.
Right.
Because our competitors live in Hungary or live in Spain. Like I never went abroad, so I think that's a little bit different. A lot of girls play professionally in Europe, and that's when you're on teams with other national team members.
Yeah.
From the opposite countries, and I never did that, so I never had a relationship or friendship with basically any of my competitors except for 2 or 3 of them played with me in college at USC.
Yeah.
And it was a very great friendship, and we would hug each other when we saw each other in the beginning of the tournament, and then we would drink beers with each other at the end. But during the tournament, we barely spoke, and it was like game on,
Yeah.
But I saw them once or twice a year. I'm not traveling the world with them. So what I struggled with a lot was teammates, actually.
Yeah.
Because on the competitive and jealousy end, you are, I think I've said this plenty of times, but there's about 18 of us training for 13 spots.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. And I've never been like a shoo-in, especially my Tokyo quad was really tough, and they actually were talking about lowering the roster size. So, if someone's playing well or, getting more playing time, scoring goals, having success, and then it's always creeps into your back of your mind. Or then, people go a lot. I've heard this a lot, but they think coaches' favorites and
yeah, of course.
so the competition and the jealousy was almost within the team. So that got a little tricky because we're also supposed to be building this camaraderie and building this chemistry. And sometimes it pulled us apart.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we get back to, like be competitors and be dogs against each other. when you're training in the water with your teammates, and then it'll only make you closer from when you're actually going against your competition. And we always talked about leaving it, on the pool deck, but I
Yes.
think as females and I think as human in general, that's something really hard to do. That's a practice and it takes time, and I don't think anyone has ever fully mastered it.
No, human.
Yeah, especially if it got chippy in the water that day. It's not like you're gonna be like, "Oh, she's gonna be my bestie."
Yeah, for sure.
Just knowing space, I think.
And you got to stand up for yourself too. And like, that's such an interesting, way different than anything I've ever experienced. But I think that would almost be a harder dynamic than what I deal with, like hanging out with my competitors. Because I don't know. I think for us, it's like there's a level of obviously you respect your teammates immensely, but there's like a level in my head. I just respect everyone on the tour so much that there's certainly I want to beat them in the water, or they annoy me or
Yeah.
whatever. But I, at the end of the day, like definitely try and leave that in the water. It does always translate, but I can't imagine, within a team. But I also feel like too, a lot of that's on the coach, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
To make sure, I don't know, have that camaraderie, right?
Right. It's really interesting because you want to build competition, and
Yeah.
competition like leads to more success. So he actually, and assistant coaches as well, enjoyed seeing it.
Yeah.
Like he would want to see those catty fights, and like as long as you were pushing yourself and they weren't dumb or for other reasons, but if it was strictly polo, wanting good being great, great beating good was kind of a saying he always said. Like we don't want to have mediocre beating bad. So as long as it was great beating good and seeing the fire and the passion, I think he knew it would come together for the most part in the end.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time outside of the pool with sports psychs and with doing some fun activities to build team bonding as well. But it is kind of a trip. And then that leads into confidence, I think, because obviously, the jealousy and the competition is huge. But I want to know how your confidence kind of goes up and down and what you do to get yourself more confident in tough moments. And then when you're on a high, how do you keep it rolling?
It's a great one to talk about, I think, for everyone to hear. And confidence is weird because everyone struggles with it. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, everyone struggles.
I don't care if you're a guy, if you're a girl, if you were Kobe Bryant or whatever, you know what I mean? Like we all struggle with confidence. And in sport, I feel like obviously you get confidence when you're winning, but in my sport, we lose a lot more than we win. Like I've only won 7 events in my entire career. I've been doing this.
Yeah, how many events have you surfed actually? This is
okay. So they do this analytics.
Yeah,
I want to figure that out because they do like how many waves you've surfed, how many events. I surely have made it over the 100 event.
That's what I'm thinking.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
which is pretty legit. And I've only won 7, which is actually a lot to win.
I know.
So for us, like, I don't know, it's really hard. I think you have to, and I think too, a lot of athletes, especially at our level and your level, are really self-critical already. So for instance, for me, like I had a really bad heat in New Zealand and it really bugs me. And I made mistakes that I shouldn't have at this point in my career. And to like clear that from your head and not let it bog you down. So I think, I think confidence needs to come from, I guess what my point is, somewhere other than always just winning.
I know.
Winning's going to give you it. But those little wins along the way, whether it's like you got a good wave in your free surf or a board's feeling good, or like for me, it's always been if my preparation's really good, I draw so much confidence from it because I know I've done everything possible to put myself in the best position to succeed this week in the event. And I feel confident in that. To sometimes if I like haven't surfed enough or whatever, I can feel it. I'm like, okay. So I just think it's a hard thing and you got to create your own confidence. And some people are honestly better at it than others. Like I look at someone in our sport, and maybe you could give examples of people in your sport, but like a Jack Robinson, he's a guy on the men's tour and he's a phenomenal surfer, but his belief in himself when he's honestly surfing like bad, you're like, oh my gosh, that is incredible.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of mean, but it's almost like, I don't want to say it's delusional because he wins a lot.
Yeah,
he has a silver
totally.
medal, and he's probably going to be world champ. So it's not delusional, but I think for most people, if they're like keep losing or getting bad scores, it takes a toll. And you can just see in him, and he's always like, nope, that's all right. I'm going to win the next one. Like no matter what. And that's really impressive. And I certainly don't have that, but I don't know I don't know. Do you have those people kind of in your sport? Like,
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like you just see, and it always tends to be, I don't know if I would always say the most talented, but the best players have that extra confidence or belief in themselves, especially in big moments. Like they're the ones that they want the ball in their hand.
yeah.
But I think as a team, it's interesting because, in surfing, I would get more down on myself because it's an individual sport and I would be harder on myself.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get out of the slump I felt in that sport, more so than water polo. I mean, it totally exists, and I've been in slumps in water polo too, but you can kind of ride the coattails of your teammates.
Yeah. Someone else is gonna have a good game, so you're like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bounce back next one, whatever.
Exactly. And, I think I was very realistic too. So it wasn't like the highest expectations of, okay, I'm going to, play the whole game and score a million goals. So it was easy to start gaining confidence, like what you said, rather than the event win, more so like a good heat score or something like that. For me, it was like, okay, a couple good passes that lead to a goal or,
Yeah.
a score, like a goal. I know I was really tough on my shooting percentage because I play on what would normally be the left-hander side of the pool.
Okay.
So it makes the angle for a righty a little bit more difficult.
Right.
And I don't have the greatest or the fastest shot. So I really had to focus on finding unique ways to make my shot better. But that's something that would stick in my mind. It's like I knew every game, every tournament, what my shooting percentage was. And, you could find yourself getting too obsessed with it in a way.
Yeah.
But you want to be aware. So it's this fine line. Like you want to be aware where you are and, what those percentages and analytics are, yet not become obsessed with it and just let kind of things flow. So confidence is so tricky. I found myself the most confident usually in the end of the seasons when I was the fittest. So I think going back to what you said about preparation and was the biggest thing for me too.
You would be more fit at the end of your season than the beginning?
Yeah, because
Interesting.
I know it's crazy, but we trained through everything. Like we're even lifting weights the day before the Olympic gold medal game. And I think that's something Team USA prided themselves on was, we're not just playing one game or, I guess you guys surf a lot more than just one heat, but,
Sure.
so we knew it was going to be a 7-game tournament. So we wanted to be our best by game 7.
Of course.
And I think that's where we for so often had success we just outperformed our, competition by the end of the games while they're maybe tired or their bodies are breaking down here and there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would train through tournaments and some tournaments don't mean as much. So like we'd kind of get our butts kicked.
For sure.
And so by the end of the season, we were all of us, for the most part, unless there was an injury or something, were the fittest and the fastest. And then you all go separate ways. And there's no college that trains like Team USA. There's no European club team that trains like, here you are at Team USA where it's 6 days a week, 6 hours a day. So yeah, we were always the fittest at the end.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. And you do with your sport, I guess you guys travel a lot, but you have the luxury of like staying at a hotel with gyms around.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's like seeked out for you.
Yeah.
Like on my tour, it's a little bit harder to like,
Yeah.
I find a gym everywhere I go for sure. And I try and train everywhere I go, but I definitely feel like I'm the most fit before my first event of the season, like going into Australia this year.
For sure. I mean,
yeah,
traveling on the road and staying fit and eating healthy, it's the hardest thing ever.
it's so hard.
It's crazy.
It is so, and like I'm like a highly motivated person,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is really hard. Yes, and the diet on top of it too. It's like, geez, man, we're always out, and yes, it's anyone who travels kind of knows that, but that's literally like our life.
Yeah,
is
you got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out. Like you were on the road like 9 months a year, basically. So you do figure it out, but it's definitely hard. I think it's why I enjoy the breaks that I get at home so much. Like even this week for me, I'm like, oh, it's so nice. I've booked in to do reformer 3 times this week. I know I'm going to do the gym 3 times. Like I'm, like you just have routine. And
I always struggled when I was on the road. Not like you said, the team, everything was set up for us. Like we didn't have an option. It's like practice is here and training's here and gym's there and we have a set schedule. But traveling for surfing, like there was guilt if I didn't get things I wanted to do. And I felt like that affected me mentally too. Like there was a checklist in my mind of what I had to do that day. And if I didn't do it, I would put guilt on myself. Yet like it's almost be like, okay, I don't have to have a full lift. Like if I just do an activation, is that good enough? Like how do you work with your mind in that
it's a
sense?
good question. I have that all the time still too. I'm like, I want to work out hard today, but maybe we're going to be on tomorrow. So
Yeah.
the other hard thing for me, and to answer that question, is like, you kind of, the days you're for sure going to run, but sometimes you're on hold and you don't know if you're going to run the next day or not. You're like, it's 50-50. So if I want to go to the gym, I kind of can't go too hard because I don't want to be sore tomorrow. But
Yeah.
I also want to go work out and not just stretch for 20 minutes.
Right.
I like want to feel good or whatever. So I don't know. I guess for me, I've learned I will still definitely do like a full workout the day before I compete, but I'll mellow it out on like the plyos, and I won't go as heavy ever during the
Yeah.
whole event. Obviously, like I'll keep it on the lighter
If
side.
the waves are pumping, are you surfing as long as you can?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think I surf a ton at I would say everyone on tour, aside from Felipe Toledo, who does not surf at events ever.
How crazy is that?
It's crazy. You like won't see him free surf.
No way.
If I see him free surf, I'm like, whoa, hey, wow.
No way.
And then he shows up in a heat.
Like dry heat and a heat.
Yeah.
And like won't surf for 5 more days till his next heat.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I see, he might go surf like a beach break.
Yeah. Just go get wet and like get his feet
But
in the
yeah,
sand.
I mean, he lived here in San Clemente for like 5 years, and I'd rarely see him surf even like ever, and he can do that. Obviously works for him, and
No, I know. That's what's so cool.
it's
like,
so crazy. And like myself, I think, including basically the rest of the tour, but I surf a lot, and my coach likes me to surf a lot. So if the waves are pumping, like I'm gonna, of course, be surfing, 4 to 5 hours that day, however that breaks up, at least. So a lot of the times, if the waves are that good and I'm free surfing, I'm trying to get through boards, like that's the priority, is getting the surfing right and getting my boards feeling good. And a lot of times if I've surfed like 4 or 5 hours that day, I'm really tired. I don't want to go do a full gym session.
Yeah.
And I will just go do like stretching or whatever. But so yeah, I guess for me, I just base it off of my activity level in the water that day.
Yeah.
That can
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Like surfing should be first.
Yes.
And I remember training, and I know this is like nearly 10 years ago, but 2017, sometimes I wasn't putting surfing first. I was like, well, I got to go do the gym workout. I got to do this. I got to do that. I was like, wait, I'm like trying to train to surf. Like I got to go surfing.
Go surf.
Yeah. Even if it's crappy, like just that's the best workout for surfing, clearly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And some days, like even in New Zealand, I surfed a ton before the event, and the one day was pretty good waves, and I surfed that morning, and like Leandro wanted me to surf that afternoon, and I was just like, I'm surfed out. And I actually just went to the gym because I was like, yeah, I actually feel like doing a nice workout, and I know I don't need to surf anymore, but I was like that in my earlier years too. I would feel like, oh, I got to be at the gym, and you should be surfing, So.
Do you go gym solo? You go with somebody? Does your husband get to go?
Usually we'll go solo. Tom will come sometimes.
Yeah, if he has free time ever.
He doesn't, yeah, exactly. He doesn't like public gyms though. He's not a gym guy.
Is he just kind of looking and judging everyone? Like, that's wrong technique. You're not doing that exercise right. I know. Yes. Yeah.
When it comes with me a little bit, she loves the gym.
Good.
But yeah, you usually see people from the comp in there though. Everyone's training and trying their best. So yeah, it's pretty funny. I don't know.
And then, okay, so now we're going to switch over to the next topic. I want to know about any like crazy athlete habits where the normal person would be like, that is weird. You guys do what?
Yeah, this we thought would be funny.
Yeah.
Because I do think athletes, just our life is ridiculous compared to like the normal human, obviously.
Yeah.
But no, I want you to go first. Share this zinc situation.
This is so obviously we have, practices. We're usually in the pool an hour and a half in the morning, sometimes 2, and then the afternoon another 2.5, 3 hour session.
Yeah.
So a lot of sun, and we're in the water, very similar to surfing. So it's like very difficult to protect yourself from the sun.
Yeah.
And I'm going on this like I don't want any weird ingredients in my sunscreen, no chemical. Yeah, mind you, I'm soaking in chlorine, by the way. So I don't know how that works. But the hack is that a lot of teammates just put Destin all over their face. And for those that don't know, it's baby diaper rash because it's just made out of like 10% zinc. So it's just zinc oxide, and it's thick and it's gooey and it stays on. It's basically water resistant because it's supposed to protect these little babies' booties.
Wow.
So we're like going to CVS buying just tubs of Destin and just putting on, and we look like ghosts, just white face. I'll throw up a photo.
Oh my God.
And it's actually probably the best sunscreen out there.
Really? This would be good for surf.
It would be. I mean, if you don't want, you'll probably look kind of kooky, but
I can't do white zinc. I can't do it.
It's like full white zinc from forehead to chin.
Oh man, and then your pores are just stoked.
Yeah, and then you basically have to like rub it off, like sandpaper off your face after the fact.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the hardest, most annoying, not the hardest. I don't know why I said the hardest, but the most annoying thing about training, like you're all dry skin, itchy, gross, sunburn, chafing. So figuring out any hacks. So usually you want to wear a tight bathing suit when you're training.
Yeah.
I actually didn't that much. I was like, I'd rather be comfortable. But you wear it tight so you don't get grabbed as often or pulled as often. But then that leads to chafing. So Vaseline of some sorts, like all over your body so you don't chafe.
Yeah.
And you would come out like in a new suit. You would have very similar to wetsuits, but like armpit rashes on your back, like where the zipper is. And water polo swimsuits are not cut cute. So this tan lines, I actually have some classic photos might pop up, but the tan lines are ridiculous.
That's so funny.
And then
I can sort of relate to the tan lines because I always get when I wear a wetsuit, it's just we call it the poo head, and for girls it's like the worst thing ever. You're just so tan from here up, and then
you got it going on right now.
Yeah, you can probably see it. It's like. And there's just no way to get rid of it ever. You're like, cool. I remember I was I think it was my cousin's wedding, and I put my dress on, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, all getting pretty, like, and then there's just no way to avoid it. Just so dark from the neck up, and I was like, okay, whatever. This is what it is. But that's funny. And the armpit rashes, those are killer. Gnarly.
Did you ever like what gets me when I go from obviously like your skin is so bare before from a wetsuit going into a bathing suit. So whenever I go surf warm water, my knees and my thighs, like I was like, am I popping up weird or is this what like almost holes in your knees?
I start like this is craft. I start like bleeding every time.
Yeah.
It's like the first 5 days in tropical climate, I'll like bleed on the top of my thighs.
And there's nothing you can do about that because if you use Vaseline, it gets on your board. So you slip. So you just have to grind it out for 5 days of just misery.
Yeah. That is actually gnarly and it hurts bad. Like it actually really hurts.
Yeah.
Because it's salt water too. Every time you jump in, you're like, oh, it's so stingy.
And then it calluses up and then you're good for a season. But yeah, it is brutal, especially if you're like going on a 5-day surf trip and that's it.
Yeah, you need like 2 weeks. And then you're good. But yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm trying to think other things that are just ridiculous that we do as athletes. I guess recovery stuff. I mean, I've invested in every go-go gadget imaginable.
I have too.
Like if it's on Instagram, you've sold it to me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
We have been influenced.
Absolutely. I'm trying to, I mean, I feel like after a big day, I'll do like red light. We have this thing called the wiggle machine, which is actually, it's called the chi machine. We call it the wiggle machine. And I just put my ankles in it and it just wiggles my ankles back and forth.
Like a little lymphatic drainage?
Yeah. And I just try, and it helps loosen up my low back.
Oh,
too.
that's nice for your back, for you.
So I do those like every night, plus the Normatex, which is probably the most athletic performance, like recovery tool, I think that like athletes use.
Yeah. Those are the compression boots. Or like, leggings.
Yeah. I'll hit a red light face mask or I'll just use the red light, like hold it over my face. Like
that's what I do.
And I'll hit it on and then I'll do my knees.
We're such dorks. But it's the 1%. Like if this is, it's not going to make me worse. So is it the 1% that's going to make me better?
And maybe it's just the 1% that's going to make you more confident.
I know.
Going back to that.
Yeah, going back, like I prepared. I did my red light. Like come over to my house in Newport every morning. You'll see me on the vibration plate with the red light.
Yeah. That I'm yet to do. I freaking love the vibration plate is being sold on freaking wellness.
Yep.
But it probably works.
I don't know if any of this, I don't know if anything works, to be honest. I just do it. Like I actually don't know if I feel better using anything.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. That's so
sleep. We go back to the sleep.
I think honestly my best thing is the Whoop that I like my Whoop and I like having just all my data and info, and then I feel like I can base my recovery off that. But again, this is sort of, I mean, we live in a world that's very much, I think at the moment, about health and health hacks and hacking, and people are into it. But I do think like being an athlete, that is just your life in general. Since you're young, you're like trying to figure out how to biohack, or at least me, you know, and it is ridiculous. Sometimes I'm like, this is probably making you less healthy because you're focusing so much on like all these tiny little things, even though it's fun, to try and whatever. But um, it is like just ridiculous how much stuff is actually out there.
No, I had I don't know if it was a Whoop or an Apple Watch back like years ago, and I caught myself just too obsessive. And I
Yeah.
know I have that. I'm sure all of us athletes do to an extent, but I know that can be a negative.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was 1 week, and I was just looking at my stuff 24/7. I was like, this isn't healthy. So I, from that day on, have never worn any wearables. And you got to watch out for those EMFs, Lakey.
Yeah, no, I
Those
need to get
Bluetooth.
those sneakers, right? I had bad recovery at Bell's for like 4 days in a row, and I was like, it's again. It was like, why is my heart rate high? It was so bad. Like, it's so
You just got it's trial and error.
it's
It's trial and error.
so is.
Another thing that popped in my mind that's hilarious in the water polo and swim world is the chlorine can be so bad for your eyes. And if you have brighter eyes, I don't know if I just made this up or if someone actually told me, but this is
my
true.
mom told me she
Okay,
was,
yeah.
she was a swimmer.
If you have brighter eyes, the chlorine affects you more, and the sun, how the way the sun's hitting the water, and then the chlorine mixture. Like some of my like worst practices, I was just miserable, could barely even open my eyes.
Oh.
And we were told, I don't know if this is our parents just told us when we were young or if this actually is true, but if you put milk in your eyes, it helps. So when I was in 10 and unders or 12 and unders, we're just pouring milk in our goggles. You put it in your goggles and then you open your eyes in the goggles. And I don't know if it's placebo, but you felt better.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh.
now a lot of the girls on the team, they put on these like sunglass contacts,
Okay.
but their eyes are like red.
Oh, scary.
So it is so creepy. They're like dark black and red.
Whoa.
And you're like trying to talk to them about polo in the pool or like passing with them. And you're like, okay, you look like
You demonic? Or?
something's happening. You are possessed. But that's a little hack. I never got into those. I probably should have because my eyes were just killer. But any type of eye drop, milk, just to try to get the chlorine out.
So funny. I mean, I'm sure there's like plenty more weird, crazy, ridiculous stuff that we do as athletes.
Yeah, like we got to ask the question, do you pee in your suit?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
If you honestly, if you don't pee in your wetsuit, I think you're more weird.
I do too. Like how can you do that?
Weirdo. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's absolutely no chance. Like, I
like-
don't know if anyone.
The
Yeah.
moment my foot touches the water,
Yeah.
like I'm not even
Basically.
under.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I guess if you're dropping like $1,000 on like some fancy new suit that it's supposed to last for, I don't know. I'm trying to help them a little bit.
someone who's not being in the wetsuit. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
weird.
doing. Pee in the wetsuit. You're out there for way too long. It's hard sometimes when you're in between heats if you don't have enough time to change out of your suit and you back out there quick. But you gotta pee. This happened to me at Bell's, and I was like, dang it, I gotta pee.
Like, go
In my wetsuit already. And there's like 30 minutes before my heat, and I was like, that's too rogue. I can't do that.
No.
You gotta wait till you're in the water.
You have to and taking off a suit and putting that same one back on, it's the worst.
No. So we learned that lesson. We don't go that far.
No.
Yeah. In the water. What about peeing in the pool, KG?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
There's enough chlorine in there.
Yes.
man.
I mean, that's why our skin is sizzling off because of the chlorine. But yeah, everyone, like, I don't know if I've ever heard a teammate not doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny because I know some people that really struggle with peeing in the pool or like, okay,
This is a good topic.
I don't need to call this person
No,
out, but
don't.
like they need to touch the ground, like be standing to do so.
Okay, interesting.
And that just like doesn't exist in our world. It's like, because obviously we can't stand our pools, are too deep.
Yeah.
And you just are chugging water when you're sitting on the bench and then you
Yeah.
hop in.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Holy cow, that's really funny. I actually didn't know what you were gonna say then. I didn't know if you were gonna be like, no, it's definitely sacrilegious to pee. In the
Oh,
pool.
no.
Be like, heck yeah. of
No,
course.
everyone does.
Okay, so
Like,
it's like surfing.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because that's the last thing you want to worry about when you're competing.
True.
Like, I know I have to hold.
agree.
Yeah.
I've definitely peed in the pool
Yeah.
numerous times, but I'm not, I was, yeah.
Uh,
Anyways, we'll get off that topic. I don't know how to wrap this up. That's basically our whole episode.
yeah, Sandy's falling asleep. I hope
Sandy's-
you guys aren't.
The cutest little baby sleeping right now of all time. Oh my
Let us know what other pro athlete tips or hacks you guys want to hear about. We got to do a whole episode of traveling. That's funny.
I think we should do a whole episode of
Yeah.
traveling. Yeah. And also, like Kaleigh said, send in any episode ideas that you guys want to hear because yeah, we want to do more solo episodes. So
Yeah. All right.
okay, we'll see you next week.
Later.